cultural confederates. So it's time that we put certain people in the media in the round file. That's going to be our new segment here on the channel. And the first person to go into the round file, the cultural round file, is none other than former MSNBC host Joy Reid. And this is over at Outkick. Welcome back to the channel, Culture Confederacy. Here it's Thursday. So happy Thursday, everybody. And thank you again for watching, subscribing, being a part of this thing called the Culture Confederacy. So if you're new, we don't use any fancy graphics here. You're not going to see me come on the camera and go, look at how good looking I am. Look at how shredded I am. No glamour shots, no epic soundtracks. We try to preserve great art, music, history, and culture. Talk about the issues of the day. You might get a tinge of politics. But that's what the channel's about. So let's get to this. So good old Joy Reid, again putting her foot in her mouth, claiming that white men are mediocre and that their fragility is destroying America. Now, this happened in her latest podcast episode featuring guest Wajahat Ali, who also accused white men of stealing creations from black and brown people. Who the hell names their kid Wajahat? Hey, Wajahat, go fetch me the paper, Wajahat. Hey, Wajahat, drive me to the store. Hey, Wajahat, get me that General Tenure Hide. So this is what Ali said, quote, "These white men cannot create culture on their own without black people, brown people, the DEIs. There's no culture in America. We make the food better. We make the economy better. We make the music better, right? Have you listened to any of this hip-hop music lately? You make the music better. Okay. Has he even heard Haydn's Symphony No. 102, which is a great masterpiece that nobody knows about? Or the Drum Roll Symphony by Haydn? Has he heard jazz artists like Cal Tjader? People like Tom Scott? So, of course, Joy Reid had to chime in. Isn't she starting to look more like a man? Have you noticed that? She's taking on a more mannish look. I mean, for all we know, Joy Reid could be transgender. I mean, in this day and age, who knows, right? Quote, "They don't have the intellectual rigor to actually argue or debate with us. What they do is they tattle and they tell, they run and tell teacher, they run and tell teacher." This is so incoherent. She can't even get her grammar right here. That, quote, "the black lady or the brown man was mean to me." Teacher, teacher, the black lady, the brown man was mean to me. And that's what they always do. No, Joy, I'm too busy going to work trying to earn a paycheck like 99.9% of the Americans out here who are doing the same thing, whether black, Hispanic, white, Asian, you name it. You see, we don't live under the Klieg lights. We live in reality. Where have you been? They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave hell. But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. They can get rid of all the slavery stuff. They got PragerU that can lie about the history to the children. Who's lying to who here? Everybody knows that slavery happened, Joy. Where have you been? And I'd like to point out, if you go to the Georgia State Archives site, you can find the Georgia state slave laws from 1750 to 1860. Or whatever it was. And there were, believe it or not, actually laws in there that protected slaves from being maimed or injured. It was against the law to maim or injure a slave. And slaves, believe it or not, had limited rights. I mean, they could have representation in court. They couldn't represent themselves, of course. but there were some protections for slaves under the law. I know that sounds unbelievable, but that did exist. She goes on to say they can't originally invent anything more than they ever were able to invent good music. Again, Haydn Symphony No. 102, the Drum Roll Symphony No. 103. It was called the Godfather of the Symphony. We have black folk gave you, or we black folks, pardon me, gave you all country music, hip hop, R&B, jazz, rock and roll. Well, country music actually goes back to the Appalachians, Joy, with the English and Scotch-Irish, with the folk music in the hills. That's where country music comes from. And believe it or not, Ray Charles loved country music. I love Ray Charles. Ray Charles, his early stuff is great. I love his early stuff. Because they couldn't make rock and roll, so they had to stamp the king, that's in quotes, on a man whose main song was stolen from an overweight black woman. Isn't that kind of stereotypical, Joy? An overweight black woman? Isn't that an attack on women, that all women are overweight, all women are fat? Of course, we know the king being Elvis Presley. Now, this is funny. So, Outkick tries to deflect here because they don't want to get involved really with this controversy. But they list the accomplishments of the white community, white men, Europeans. They say, look, we aren't sure we need to get into a discussion about which race created what. However, just for context, there are a few things that white men did in fact invent. Electricity, airplanes, automobiles, penicillin, atomic bombs, plumbing, B-2 stealth bombers, the F-22 Raptor, blue jeans, Facebook. Well, you know what? All cultures grab influences from here, there, you name it, especially in areas of cooking, or let's say areas of clothing or artwork, even in music. I mean, the composer Saint-Saëns, great French composer from the 19th century, was using Oriental themes in his music, as did Rimsky-Korsakov. We had jazz artists like Herbie Mann that was infusing Turkish rhythms into his music. Ever hear that song, Turkish Coffee? Great tune, by the way. Really cool tune. So, Joy Reid, if you think that we're not cultured here, or that somehow, we stole everything from everybody else. No, we were inspired by other cultures. We infused those influences into our own culture, and our culture influenced or infused influence into other cultures. That's how it worked, or that's how it works normally. I swear, this woman lives on Planet 9 or something. And of course, people were responding on X and Facebook, you name it. And they refer to mayonnaise sandwiches. I've never had a mayonnaise sandwich in all my life. This sounds to me like a middle-aged, sexually frustrated, bitter woman. And you talk about white people, she's got on too much makeup. She's starting to look like the aristocracy in France in the 1780s. With all that ceruse. Surprised this woman hasn't gotten lead poisoning. That's what happened with these people that wore ceruse back in the day. They get lead poisoning. So I wanted to talk about this. And it's official, Joy Reid. You are first to go into the Cultural Round File here on the Cultural Confederacy. So let's give a round of applause to Joy Reid for being the very first to go into our Cultural Round File. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, if I didn't mention it, if you work in an office somewhere, you know what this means. But for those of you who don't, when you say you're going to put it in the round file or file 13, that means you're going to put it in the trash or recycle it. Put it in the recycling bin. So Joy Reid You officially now are the first to go into our cultural round file. Congratulations. You go, girl. You go. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You can follow me at Instagram, hashtag Jason Composes, because I write music in my spare time. Go to X, Culture Confederacy, at Culture Confed 1 on X. Now you can find me at Substack. This is the Culture Confederacy saying, keep up the culture. God bless this thing called the United States. I'll catch you next time, and y'all have a great Thursday. Take care.